Hi, I'm Jill, your inner healing coach, and I want to speak to the woman who is quietly questioning herself in ways she never had before. I know the routine. You're not doing it out loud, you're not being dramatic, just privately in the moments when you're all alone with your thoughts. You ask questions like, why does everything feel harder than it used to? Why does my body feel so unfamiliar? Why am I doing all the right things and still feel so unsettled? So if you're over 45, you don't need a diagnosis to know something has changed. You live inside your body, you feel it. You're praying for an answer because sleep doesn't restore you the same way. Your mind feels noisier, your tolerance for stress is lower, and the things you once pushed through without thinking now just feel heavier. And what's frustrating is that you haven't stopped trying. You're not avoiding life, you're not checked out, you're not unwilling to do the work. Most women in this season are deeply responsible women. Women who carried families, women who showed up when it was hard, women who survived seasons that required everything they had. And the women that I work with are some of the strongest women I know. And that's exactly why this season feels so confusing and disorienting. Because for the first time, pushing through stops working. I know this season personally because not too long ago, there was a point in my own life where I realized that no amount of insight was giving me peace. No amount of understanding was settling my body, and no amount of trying harder was creating the stability that I desperately needed. I had done therapy for years and it never worked for me. I have done personal growth. That's why I went through the training that I have. And I had done the learning, the reflecting, and the unpacking. And while some of it helped, it didn't give me what I needed the most. What I needed was to feel safe in my body and steady inside myself again. Because without that, everything felt fragile. Decisions felt heavy, relationships felt draining, and my body stayed on edge even when nothing was wrong. This is the part women don't say out loud. We can understand our stories, we can be emotionally intelligent, we can have faith, wisdom, and insight. But if our bodies are still braced, still alert, still carrying years of unresolved stress, unfortunately, we stay stuck in a quiet form of survival. That's when hormones feel unpredictable. That's when weight responds differently. That's when anxiety appears without a clear reason. And that's when brain fog makes you question yourself. You know, when you go into the kitchen and you just can't remember why you were there, you ask where your keys are, they're in your hand, or you ask where your cell phone is, it's in your hand. It's not because you're broken, not because you failed, but because your body has been carrying too much for too long. And here's a truth I wish more wisdom were told earlier. Your body is not turning against you, it's just telling the truth. For years, you lived in seasons that required postponement, postponing rest, postponing care, postponing your own needs. You did what was necessary, you did what life required, but survival was never meant to be permanent. And after 45, especially as menopause approaches or settles in, the body stops absorbing the cost quietly. It doesn't exactly shout and it doesn't collapse. It just refuses to keep paying the price. And that's not failure, that's the body's natural wisdom. I created the inner healing journey method because I needed a way back to peace that actually held. I didn't need more information. I didn't need another breakthrough moment. And I didn't need to keep reliving my past in order to heal. And I wasn't looking for a quick fix. What I needed was clarity. I needed structure. I needed a process that respected my body, my faith, my education and training, and the reality of this season of my life. Inner Healing Journey Method isn't therapy. It's not about fixing yourself, and it's not about rushing transformation. It's about restoring internal stability so your body can finally stand down. And when that happens, things begin to change. Not dramatically, but deeply. Your body starts to rest, your mind begins to quiet, you stop second guessing yourself, and life no longer feels like something you're bracing against. And that is a breath of fresh air. This work is for women who are done with chaos, done with conflicting advice, done with the quick fixes, done with trying to force peace instead of building it. It's for women who want to live the next decade differently, with clarity instead of confusion, with discernment instead of reactivity, with peace that isn't fragile. So if you're looking for the next thing to try, this may not be the moment yet for you. But if you know deep down that the old way isn't going to carry you forward, you're not imagining that. You're listening to wisdom, and there is a way through this season with grace, not by pushing harder, not by abandoning yourself again, but by restoring what's been carrying you all along. And that's what the inner healing journey method is for. So if your body has been asking for something different, this is where you begin. Start by clicking the subscribe button and share this video with someone who you know needs to hear this message. I look forward to seeing you inside this course. God bless you on your own journey. Thank you for being here with me.